Well, finally getting around to some additional thoughts on 3-6 Mafia. Now that my lazy, slacking ass is home from vacation and no longer on the beach down in San Diego, which was glorious, by the way. It was like a high of 76 pretty much all week. The water was upper 60s, which might seem cold to some of you who are down in in the Gulf or something like that. But for California, that's great because the Pacific is a cold bitch. Just always cold. So if you get water in the upper 60s, low 70s, that's just amazing. And it was amazing. Unfortunately for 3-6 Mafia and Mystic Stylez, I didn't get a lot of time with the album because I was gone. But I did take some notes. I wrote some stuff down. People are great with this community in that they'll send me messages and they'll send me links to videos. And one guy sent me a couple of links to some of these little basically fan-made documentaries talking about the Memphis sound in the 90s and how a lot of these things originated from there. And it's just cool. And, even though I'll probably have more to... Well, I need to stop saying that I don't have much to say because then I talk for 15 minutes and it's just dumb, right? This week, this album, Mystic Stylez, I'm happy with doing this album just because I feel like it's such a part of hip-hop's history, and that's the whole point of this channel. And I looked this morning to see the views, and I think it's got like 8,300 views, and it's over a week old, so that's not good, right? That's fine. Like, the point of this channel is not get the most views and do the biggest thing. No. It is a journey through hip-hop, and while this might not be a wildly popular album or something people are into, honestly, I wasn't really that into it. It did grow on me after a couple listens. It did grow on me a little bit. Like, I was listening to it last night when we got home, and I was just kind of chilling at my computer doing some stuff, and I had it on as more of like a background listen, and it was cool. I think the initial reaction experience, just because of the audio quality, the lyrical content is kind of crazy, right? A little bit longer songs, a little bit more repetition here and there, and the beat structure and stuff like that. Okay, so my initial reaction experience wasn't amazing. That's okay. Sometimes that happens. It was fun for me. I did go through and make a separate playlist. Talking is difficult sometimes. And what is it? It's got 8 tracks and it's 40 minutes. And it's basically all I did was I went through and all the songs that I put hearts next to, I just made that my playlist. And so it's Break the Law, Live by Your Rep, In the Game, Long Night, Back Against the Wall, Fuck With This Clan, Tear the Club Up, and Mystic Stylez. And it's a great 40-minute run. I feel like, not to put down the album as a whole, but for me, it's cool to listen to those tracks, those 8 songs, 40 minutes, pretty digestible. You get the sound, you get the experience, you get the crazy lyrics and the creepy tones and all that stuff, right? And it just kind of trims out the bloat a little bit. I think I said that during the reaction that in the 90s, there was just albums that were like, all right, well, you got to fill up a CD, so keep making songs and we'll just slap them all in there. And anyway, so with the notes that I have written down, let's see what I got here. The triplet flow. I had no idea that the triplet flow was coming from, I guess, the Memphis area. One of the documentaries said that 3-6 wasn't the first group to do it, but, first for me to hear it, I guess, in terms of originators. I don't think I've had anybody else. Who was the other guy? I forget the name, DJ something or another, but it's cool to kind of hear where the triplet flow came from, how that has seeped into the rest of hip hop and where it's used. So that was kind of neat to, I guess, see that origin. The creepy content and the samples and the lo-fi audio and all that stuff. It reminds me of some of the White Zombie albums, songs. And there's actually a Ministry album called The Land of Rape and Honey. Not the best album title. But even though I don't listen to that album very often, the Ministry one, every now and then I throw it on. And it's fun to listen to because it's so weird. It's just got some bizarre songs. And I don't listen to it a lot. It's probably once every couple years, but every now and then I'm like, yeah, I'm going to put that on and listen to it. And it's just kind of a ride, man. It's cool. And so it was neat, I guess, hearing a rap version of that. You know, you listen to some of these old White Zombie songs and they've got the crazy horror movie samples and the weird sounds and all this stuff. And Mystic Stylez having the same thing. It was just kind of neat. You know, not that it's impossible for a rap album to have that, but you know, it's weird. There's still this idea in my mind that persists of what rap is, right? And really, I think it's not so much rap, but more of just the mainstream images that get put out on, you know, in the music videos and all this other stuff. And so this was such an inversion from that. It's creepy, dark, occult, satanic. You know, it's like, what the... Anyway, there you go. I'm beating that to death. You guys are aware of what I'm talking about now. I didn't realize they were so young. I had no idea. Some people told me, I guess, Taboo was like 15 or 16 or something like that at the time. Like, that's crazy. And then having very limited hardware to work with and trying to make that work and make these beats and make the sounds. I mean, it's really impressive. That is really impressive. And I like it for two reasons. One, you know, just the fact that they're able to pull it off and have it be so influential in hip hop overall. But it shows also just, you know, how into it they were, how much they cared about what they were doing. And because usually when you're young and you don't have a lot to work with, the ideas are bigger than the motivation, you know, like usually like, yeah, it'd be cool to do this and that. And then when it comes time to actually do it, like, well, fuck it, I don't want to. It's just so easy to have the idea, but never have the ambition behind it. So the fact that these kids made it happen, you know, they took what they had and they put together something that was new and different. And I wish, you know, maybe I should look it up. I haven't seen any interviews from then with them at such a young age, but it would be cool to hear, you know, what inspired that sound and that idea, and, you know, how into it were they? And one of the documentaries was talking about how there's people online that think they are part of the occult and the Illuminati. Or there's like, you know, some of that stuff gets pretty ridiculous, but it is fun to just hear what people think about it because it's just interesting. And then I think the most important part from this album, something people have been mentioning, I'm realizing I don't think I've read the comments for the reaction video yet. But I was getting messages on Patreon, on Twitter, and stuff like that. People are starting to tell me, hey, you got to pay attention to the sound so that you can start recognizing samples from this album and other albums that you're going to listen to. And it crossed my mind like, oh, right. I've been listening to enough hip hop now that I can actually know what is being sampled. At least there's a chance. When before there was, you know, it's all new to me. I don't know where it's coming from. I've never heard it before, all that stuff. And that was it kind of blew my mind. Like, oh shit, I little old Bob, I have enough knowledge of hip hop to possibly know what is being sampled and where it came from. Huh. That was new. That was new. So that was kind of cool. That was, I think, one of the bigger portions of spending some time, though limited, with Mystic Stylez and just the experience with the album over the week and what it means to hip hop and all that stuff, and just landing on this idea of I, going forward, need to pay attention to music to see if I can recognize the sample, because that's never crossed my mind before. And I think that's going to be hard. That's going to be really hard. It's going to have to be pretty obvious, because even when people... There was that one conversation with the community I had where we're talking about the amen break. And even when I knew what it was going into the sample, sometimes they change the original beat so much. To me, it's just completely unrecognizable. So it's very difficult for me to pick up on stuff like that. But it's still fun to try. And I guess that's it. Kind of short, late. I apologize. Next Wednesday will be the normal resuming of Additional Thoughts and House of Balloons. So I'll do that on Wednesday. And I guess that's it. I can't say what's coming next Friday because next Friday was yesterday. And that's House of Balloons. And you guys have already seen that reaction, I assume, for the most part. What is coming after House of Balloons? I don't remember. I'll tell you guys next Wednesday when I do that. Additional Thoughts. All right, y'all. Take care. We'll see you.